A blockchain launch worth $7 billion. That's the achievement of a man who came from a destitute Indian village that didn't even have electricity. How the son of an illiterate alcoholic became the founder of a crypto company that's shaking up the crypto world. That's what I'll talk about in today's video.
My name is Ivan. I'm an investor and a businessman. I have 6 projects in crypto, IT, and artificial intelligence. And while I am working, my digital clone is recording this video for you right now. All information has been double-checked by me personally. The future is already here.
Perhaps some of you know the plot of the movie SLUMDOG Millionaire, which was nominated for 10 Oscars and won 8 statuettes. It's the story of a poor Indian boy who wins a fortune on a TV show. Remembering moments from his tough life, he answers all the host's questions and becomes a millionaire. But there's a real person whose story echoes this plot. Sandeep Nailwal was born in 1987 in India, in the village of Ramnagar, where there wasn't even electricity and a centralized water supply. The main job for the locals was sorting through dumps and looking for scrap metal. When Sandeep was 4, his parents moved to the outskirts of Delhi in search of work. But since both parents were illiterate, they didn't even suspect that in India a child needs to be prepared for school by the age of 5. Also, his father suffered from alcoholism, and even a salary of less than $100 sometimes didn't benefit the family. They didn't even think about the child's education. Quite by chance, a neighbor suggested to the boy's parents that children should attend school. So, 5-year-old Sandeep ended up in a tiny school on the outskirts of the capital. After finishing his education, he hoped to pass the extremely important engineering exam at the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT. But he couldn't afford the additional education needed to get an edge among the 1 million students vying for about 5,000 spots. Of course, this task seemed impossible for a boy from an illiterate family. Failing to get in, Sandeep began to make a living working part-time as a math tutor. But at the same time, Sandeep was very inspired by all the buzz around Facebook in 2005. He even wanted to create his own Facebook, but he knew he needed an education in computer science for that. So, in the end, by putting in an incredible effort to prepare himself, spending his days working and his nights studying, he was able to get into a second-tier state college in Delhi on his own. After a few years of studying, he earned a degree in computer science and engineering. And after successfully finishing college, he was accepted into the MBA program at the National Institute without taking any exams. After entering the institute, Sandeep didn't take it easy. He continued to juggle work and study. While studying at the National Institute, Sandeep's talents in data analysis enabled him to get a job analyzing the electorate for India's ruling party. At the same time, he met his future wife. Sandeep spent his entire day at work, then went home and worked on independent projects, such as a GPS-based system for optimizing the delivery of freight trucks. Coming from a background of poverty, he always remembered to make the imperfect world a better place each day, and to look for earning opportunities for himself. After serious disagreements with the management, Sandeep left the analytics department and started working at one of the largest Indian companies, Welspun Textile, a cotton production company. Sandeep was highly respected at Welspun, where he was quickly promoted to the head of the e-commerce technology department. However, he didn't relax, and he never stopped working on his own projects. For instance, he tried to get into machine learning technologies. He even considered artificial intelligence, but he abandoned the idea, deciding that his mathematical abilities were not up to par. Although Sandeep first heard about cryptocurrencies in 2013, he initially considered Bitcoin a very unreliable investment. Sandeep's first serious interest in cryptocurrency emerged in 2016, when Bitcoin began to attract increased media attention. Discovering that Bitcoin was strengthening and developing, he began to delve into the topic, and after reading the official document from the cryptocurrency creator Satoshi Nakamoto, he realized that this was the next revolution for humanity. Sandeep was so confident in Bitcoin that he spent a $15,000 loan, which was taken out to organize his wedding, to purchase Bitcoins at the price of $800 each. Looking back, Sandeep says that this was a crazily risky step, considering his finances at the time. And of course, no one could guarantee him that in just a year, his investment would skyrocket more than 1,000%. As an investor, he was in a big win. His fortune increased more than tenfold in just 2 years. But for him, Bitcoin was not just a means to earn. As a developer and innovator, he saw the potential in the cryptocurrency becoming something bigger. So, he decided to gradually leave all side projects and fully dedicate himself to this field. Thus, in 2016, Sandeep founded a blockchain services startup called Scope Weaver and became known as a moderator on local Ethereum development forums. But, starting with a small startup, Sandeep, as always, didn't stop for a day in search of a solution that would change the world. And in just 2 years, he became one of the founders of a company which today is the owner of the best infrastructure platform, Polygon, with a capitalization of billions of dollars and recognition from the entire crypto world. So, what exactly is Polygon and why is it so beneficial? To understand this, we've got to recall the first two revolutions in the crypto world. Satoshi Nakamoto, with the world's first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, offered an alternative to the banking system and regular money. Bitcoin doesn't have inflation, governments can't control it, banks can't block Bitcoin transactions, Bitcoin doesn't have fees for transfers to other countries, and Bitcoin's far more secure against fraud than bank cards. Vitalik Buterin, in his Ethereum project, proposed the use of blockchain not just as an alternative banking system, but as a revolution in human interaction. This was realized in smart contracts. These are self-executing contracts which operate independently when certain conditions are met. For instance, you automatically receive money when the car you sold is registered to the new owner. For the average Joe, this means you could buy a car directly from the manufacturer, and therefore, it's cheaper by 20 to 30%, or you could rent out your apartment without paying for a real estate agent. Even today, for example, 40 of the major banks in Germany are using this technology in their services. But Ethereum's network had a major issue, which was preventing the acceleration of the widespread use of smart contract technology. The system can only process 15 transactions per second. The constant battle for a spot in those 15 transactions per second means the fee for users is always on the rise. In 2018, the transaction fee exceeded $20 for the first time. These peculiarities present difficulties for the developers and the entire infrastructure operating on the network. High operating costs on the network prevent the free testing and launching of applications. For the average user, this means expensive transactions and a slow rate of new app appearance on the blockchain. To take the next step in the development of the crypto world, a proposal for the scaling of Ethereum was needed. So, in 2019, Sandeep Nailwal, along with 2 other developers, introduced the Matic project. The project proposed solutions for the scaling of the Ethereum network, but as the project was preparing for the launch of its main part on the Ethereum blockchain and the company's IPO in May of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic began, which led to a market crash and a decrease in investor interest. In just 10 days, Matic lost 70% of its value, and the company was only able to survive thanks to the personal investments of the owners. Sandeep himself says this shock lasted for 2 or 3 months. We survived it, but realized we needed to be a project. One that revolutionizes and thereby protects itself from market fluctuations. In early 2021, the Matic network was renamed to Polygon. The project team set out to develop a breakthrough solution that could scale the entire Ethereum network exponentially. To put it simply, Polygon is Ethereum with fast transactions and low fees, using the same security principles and based on the main blockchain. The principle of operation can be briefly described as follows. Polygon's technology gathers, for example, 100 transactions in a separate network of blockchains and forms one block, which is sent to the Ethereum network using a single transaction. As a result, the transaction cost for the user is reduced. In our example, the transaction cost is reduced 100-fold. The main indicator of trust in the project is capitalization. At the dawn of 2021, the market capitalization of Polygon was only $87 million. By the middle of the year, it had grown to almost $14 billion, and by the end of the year, it was almost $19 billion. The current market capitalization of Polygon, after all the adjustments, is over $7 billion. Such capitalization growth was associated with the growing number of users. For example, at the end of 2020, the project had less than 1,000 active users per day, but by October of the same year, it surpassed Ethereum for the first time. Today, Polygon confidently holds second place with a figure of 340,000 active users, but Polygon also surpasses its main competitor in the altcoin world in another indicator. Polygon currently processes about 3 million transactions a day, while Ethereum's figure is about 1 million. The main advantage over other solutions in the market was the team's decision that Polygon would not use a single technology to speed up transactions and reduce commissions. It would be a whole ecosystem of different technologies and algorithms, which is perfect for any tasks of any level of users. It doesn't matter if you're a regular cryptocurrency owner who wants to transfer coins to a relative's wallet, or you're a programmer who creates a decentralized application. Polygon will be useful for any cases because it uses all available solutions. One of the main ingenious solutions of Sandeep Nailwal and the team was the introduction of zero-knowledge proof technology. Briefly, what it is. Zero-knowledge proof is a method of demonstrating knowledge without providing the knowledge itself. Imagine there's a door with a lock, and you want to prove to the checker that you have the key, but you don't want to show the key directly. You open the door with the key, but in a way that the checker doesn't see the key itself. In this way, you demonstrate that you have the right key, but you don't show it. In the context of cryptocurrencies, this can be used for authentication without the disclosure of personal data. For example, you can prove that you have a certain amount of funds in your blockchain account without disclosing your balance or the specific details of the transactions. And the most important thing, zero-knowledge proof provides the shortest and most effective proofs. This means that a relatively small amount of data is sufficient for verification, which reduces the time required for transaction processing and consequently the cost. For instance, if you pay for coffee at Starbucks with Bitcoins, the transaction confirmation can take up to 10 minutes and you will have to pay a high commission. That is, this technology allows for real payments for any goods with cryptocurrency with instant confirmation in the future. Precisely because Polygon has zero-knowledge proof and the instant transaction verification capability, Visa started testing digital technologies based on Polygon developments in September of this year. Infinite scalability is the main reason why we're betting on zero-knowledge, because ZK is the final stage of blockchain scalability at maximum speeds, wrote Sandeep Nailwal on X in September 2023. Today, Sandeep Nailwal lives and works in a prestigious district in Dubai. He is a regular guest and speaker at all the main events in the crypto world. In 2023, his team released the Polygon 2.0 update. This update will bring closer the moment when selling your car to an unknown buyer under the protection of smart contracts will be as commonplace as paying for a cup of coffee in any cafe with cryptocurrency. Polygon's developments will make the entire infrastructure much more accessible to any user, not just crypto enthusiasts. And this will bring the advent of the Web 3.0 era closer. But this is a topic for a separate video. If you want a video about crypto and Web 3.0, leave comments under this video. And I wish you to be as goal-oriented as Sandeep, because his story can teach us a lot. Never forget that you have to really fight for happiness, but with effort, you can achieve much more than you might think.